I suggest we move through the Ardennes forest, which is the gap in the Maginot Line. The defenses are very weak. We move the Panzer Division at high speed, pushing through the French defenses.
And then the Luftwaffe come round,
Yeah.
knock out airfields.
Yeah.
Total air superiority out of the war.
Blitzkrieg, yeah! Schnell! And of course, there is no way for the Nazis to get through the Maginot Line.
It's impregnable.
Yes.
But if the worst should happen, we have the reserves from the Brie region, which I've represented on the map with a lovely Brie de Meaux, 36 miles.
Well, if you have a little bit, I must have a little bit.
Delicious. And pasteurized. And we should go all the way through.
Creamy.
Very creamy. And then we have the armor.
Before you put that away, I might have a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
We have the Comte, or the tanks with the hard outer shell. And we can even counter the German by all the way through.
It is dry-aged.
That's 36 months. It's very, very nice.
Very nutty sort of
Of course,
flavor.
we have the reserves. So we have the pickled onion, which go very well. The British, the chutney, we know we can rely on.
Yeah, we can rely on all this.
Spread,
But do not take all of it, because
No,
I
but
made some
this
as well. We just have a little bit of them.
And now with the Dutch, perhaps the
Obviously, we just move the Panzer Division right into the trap. Delicious. Delicious.
We have cleared the board. The enemy are completely defeated.
Should we break for lunch?
C'est a great idea.
C'est bon.
C'est bon. Welcome back to Finn vs. History. I'm with Horatio Gould.
Hello.
And we have a genuine historian in
at
the
this.
room. We've had a lot of controversial
He
episodes
flew
before.
in the Battle of Britain. We've got
man.
a veteran.
A veteran. We have
It's amazing.
the pub landlord himself, Al Murray. One of the greatest British comedians.
Yes.
I mean that sincerely.
Steady on, fellows.
I mean that. There's it must have been DVDs that are on YouTube of you in the Bloomsbury in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
If 8-year-old
So
me could
funny.
see me now, it'd be
Well-
like, what's happened to the pub landlord?
Well,
What the
well,
fuck's going on?
Has he
Where
signed
did
up?
he get this kind of fake, Oxbridge accent from? Where the hell?
Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, Horatio.
It'd be too much for me to handle, I reckon.
Now, we've had a lot of controversial episodes of this podcast, and by that I mean we've had two where there's been women on.
Yeah.
But you...
No more.
No more. We've learned our lesson.
We've learned our lessons.
Al, you host a World War II podcast.
The World
Sorry.
War II.
Sorry.
podcast, if you don't mind.
Sorry.
And also, we call it the Second World War because it's, they didn't know it's not a sequel, first of all.
No.
It's not Godfather 2, right? It's better than the first one, like Godfather
Undoubtedly.
2.
It's kind of a bit
So,
like-
is it,
it's a
so
bit
mate,
like
all right,
Godfather
I'll withdraw all of that.
Yeah. But I think you could separate World War II into 3 Star Wars films.
Yeah.
In that, A New Hope is probably up until the end of the Blitz.
Yeah.
And then the middle bit is up until Stalingrad, and then
Yeah.
the D-Day onwards is like the
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the
Yeah,
Jedi.
you could slice it that way. Yeah, I mean, it is it has got like a proper 3-act.
Yeah, structure.
I mean, that's why
structure.
it's the ultimate history topic. As we were
Yeah.
talking about when we
Yeah.
started this podcast,
Yeah.
it is sort of like, it's the perfect narrative. Ending with the big fucking bomb. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Bang.
Is there
Done.
any better,
Done.
like, done,
Done. Bang.
night,
Yeah, yeah.
Night, night.
Yeah. Thanks
So
very
it's kind
much. We've had enough of this.
Yeah. Bugs Bunny comes out the mushroom cloud.
Yeah,
That's all
it's
fun.
like-
Yeah. But also, you have a cartoonish villain. This is pre-Bond.
Yep.
Hitler is, as an archtype, is a Bond villain.
Yeah.
The whole underground lair. This,
Rockets.
rockets.
Everything. Yeah. Chewing the carpet when he doesn't get what he wants. All that stuff.
I genuinely can't hear, so
Yeah,
I'm going to
I
have to
think
take this hat
we're gonna
off.
have to
For if you're-
disarm, lads.
If you're just listening, we're
Oh,
in.
that's what you sound like.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. I thought I was talking to two
Sorry, I
muffins.
was
Like,
shouting.
it's like that clip of a deaf child who's just got a hearing aid attached, and he hears his mother's voice for the first time. It's the pub landlord.
That's one of those clips that comes around basically every 18 months. And
Yeah.
people react to it like they've not seen it every 18 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You're
this
bored of it?
This again?
Yeah.
It's
What
a
about
miracle.
World War II?
It's a miracle.
Come on!
It's a miracle, but I've seen it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're enough cuteness. We're here with Al Murray to discuss the Battle of Britain. In our last episode, Al, we talked about Hermann Goering.
Yes.
Probably the funniest Nazi.
I mean, he's certainly, they funniest Nazi is world's tallest midget territory. But,
Yeah.
But not on this podcast.
No, we're all
I mean,
midgets here, Al.
he certainly offers broad brushstrokes. And his fondness for costumes
Yeah.
and model railways.
Goose.
Yeah, exactly. And there's an amazing conference. He holds.
Sorry, costumes, model railways.
Well, okay. But there's
where are you going with this, Al? What are you doing here?
Goose.
You know I love goose. That's my favourite thing.
No, he holds that amazing conference during the Battle of Britain where he makes them all look at his model railway before
Really?
they actually talk about what needs talking about.
And is it one of those ones that goes, like in restaurants, goes all the way around the side?
Yeah.
So it's not even with planes. It's not even
Karen Hall. No. It's
a train set.
He's just like basically he's filling his boots. He's making the most of being one of Hitler's number twos.
That's it. What I think I liked about him the most is he made the most of it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know how short it would be.
No.
But looking back, he can die saying, you know what, I made the most of that.
I did it. Here for a good time, not a long time.
And gets played by Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but this Russell Crowe. This is not Gladiator Russell Crowe.
Oh, okay.
This is Fat Russell Crowe, right?
Yeah, he didn't have to put any weight on for the role. And ironically, Goering at Nuremberg loses all the weight.
Yes, he did,
And
yeah.
Russell Crowe didn't.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the deal with the
It's
film.
much easier for an actor to put on weight for a role than to lose it.
Yeah.
yes, well, not since the miracle of Ozempic.
Of course, sorry. Which you're here as a spokesperson for, we should say. The podcast is sponsored
by Ozempic.
Ozempic. Which again, Goering, I mean, probably wouldn't have touched the sides.
Probably, yeah. He would have eaten through it like Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
He would have
Just
eaten
smashed through
straight through his Ozempic.
Yeah. Fuck off.
Powered through, smashed through over enemy lines, destroy the airfield.
His head would have gone, no, I know I'm not hungry, so I'm going to eat more because I know I should eat more.
Try for the will.
Yeah. Trying for the stomach.
Mein Kampf.
Anyway, Battle of Britain, to place this, we didn't place any
didn't
of
place it, God.
We normally, Al, I don't know what you're doing on your podcast. I've listened to We Have Ways of Making You Talk. And you, what's very different about your podcast, you don't assume any ignorance on the part of the audience.
No.
It's straight into machine parts.
Yeah.
You know, it's foreplay stuff.
It's shed dads, right?
It's shed.
Yeah.
It's
It's shed dads
dad
trying to get a bit of peace and quiet from the family.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why I like the subject because I've always liked it. So I don't need to explain to anyone what a bolt and pull Defiant is.
Well, you will now.
You're gonna have to
Okay, right, fine.
Al, you're gonna have to change. Your co-host James Holland has recently gone viral, and it is. I think the reason it's gone viral is because it's the archetype of a middle-aged man getting angry at a film getting stuff wrong. It's him being annoyed about the film Fury. Going,
Yes.
The tank commanders weren't that old actually, and they didn't have fun in the tanks. It wasn't
Eyes closed,
fun.
shaking head.
Yeah, shaking head outside a cafe. Just let him cook.
Yeah.
Just a dad. Stop getting bombs wrong.
Cornered at a barbecue.
He's right. He's right about quite a lot of it, though.
I'm sure he is. I hope he's right.
Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. I just like watching it like a sort of supernova exploding.
Yeah.
You know?
It's awake. Can you talk about something else, please?
Now, the Battle of Britain, would you say it begins in June, July 40?
Well, really, it's what follows Dunkirk. So Dunkirk's done and dusted in June. The evacuation's done. So it's the air battles that follow that, and because the Germans don't know what they're doing, they're making up as they go along.
But they did pretty well.
Well, yeah, but that's the interesting thing is they did not expect to be in the situation they were in. They didn't expect the French to fold. I mean. A billion freedom fry jokes follow there.
Yeah.
They didn't expect the French to fold. They don't expect the British to have bugged out. So they're improvising, and it becomes clear to them that what they got, if they're going to invade Britain or knock Britain out politically, they've got to take control of the skies over England. But they've not thought that far ahead at all. No one has.
They're sniffed up on gear, and they've been winning so much. They must have a confidence where it's like. I reckon we take the fucking lot.
Next club.
Let's do it.
Well, and there's the film of Hitler taking the French surrender at the railway carriage campaign, where he dances a little jig because he's so excited about.
Of course he is.
Because he can't believe what's happened. And then the film of him when he goes to Paris.
We've seen that. That's podcast
Where
law.
You've ever seen anyone so high on their supply? I mean, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's just like, this is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, we did it, and we never imagined that we ever would, because they're gearing up to fight another First World War. Really, they think.
Yeah.
Another like great long struggle.
Yeah.
And they turn everyone over in. Yeah, but they basically turn the French army over in 2 weeks. It's
They
amazing.
don't know what to do with themselves.
So what we normally do on this podcast, Al, is we place where the events take place and we do this by referencing something that happened before and after. Because the listeners are not like
Could be
yours.
anything.
Could be anything.
Right, okay.
Our listeners are very, very thick.
Stupid.
They live in sheltered accommodation.
They do not smell good.
They have toilets with big red cords.
Right.
They have helmets even when they're not on a bicycle.
Okay.
They wear headphones and they're not listening to music. So it's the opposite of your audience in many ways.
Yeah.
So June 1940.
Yeah.
Would you like to have a go at placing this as a historian?
In June 1940, the British Army has fled northern France.
Yep.
Yeah.
At Dunkirk, something like 330,000 men have been evacuated, along with a lot of French soldiers as well.
Yeah. We don't like to talk about that. So it's after Dunkirk, and it's before.
Yeah. I mean, the Germans can't defeat you if you're not there, is what the British Army are thinking.
Very clever.
It's smart.
Yeah,
it's
very
not
smart.
It's not stupid, but they leave all their stuff.
Yes.
So they've left all their stuff, and then so that's what happens immediately before the Battle of Britain.
And then immediately, I mean, it didn't have to be immediately after. It could be just for our listeners to get a grip on it.
The Blitz happens next.
Okay,
Very,
that's quite
very historically couched.
Charlie, do you want to give us a? Do you want to place it?
Yeah.
So it's 5 years before Leslie Bowles is born.
Who's Leslie Bowles? The fattest
The
British man.
fattest baby in
Let's get
1936.
Leslie Bowles up. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Oh, here he is.
Wow.
And it's
Right.
it's
Pride of Britain.
then it's 32 years.
Wait. It's 5 years after, right?
5 years after that, and then 32 years before he died in a crane accident at work.
Okay,
crane accident at work.
Interesting. Now, was he
the ball?
boulder?
Is he the wrecking ball at the end of the crane? How did he die?
I think maybe that's how he was.
Right. Yeah. I
Moving.
think you actually confused them with the way you placed that.
Okay,
I don't think our listeners have any idea what you're talking about.
No.
I think it needs to be in reference to Leslie Bowles' life.
We do the fattest baby at different
Right.
periods.
So
fine.
Okay. So Leslie Bowles is how old is
He's 5
years old,
and it's 32 years before he died in a crane incident at
Okay,
work.
can we find out more about the crane incident? Let's get into the Battle of Britain.
We're going to think
suppose
of
if
all sorts
Leslie-
of reasons the crane might fail.
exactly. Of course.
If Leslie Bowles was older, would he have been too heavy to fly?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
could he have been one of those barrage balloons just hanging in the air that Britain used to
yeah.
defend?
Exactly.
Now, in 1936, Al, 3 groups are set up.
Yep.
Bomber Command, Fighter Command, Coastal Command.
Yes.
The dads are ejaculating in their sheds. Helmets are on, wives are ignored.
Yeah, these are great for ignoring your family.
That's
actually.
why I think they're designed that way. And that's why we like the Battle of Britain. is we
Christmas
literally-
Day. I'm just going to eat my roast dinner in 10 minutes, get back to the shed.
But Al, you do a lot of walking the ground, don't you?
Yes.
Love it.
In
Yeah.
fact, you were meant to come on this podcast earlier, and yet you then said to me that you spent too long on battlegrounds and your wife was annoyed.
Yes,
So
that's
we've had-
absolutely true.
Yeah, interesting.
Because Jim and I, we go and visit places and we say that happened there and this happened there, and it's quite time consuming.
Yeah, it's a brilliant hobby.
Yeah.
In the mid to late 30s, Britain are preparing for some kind of air war. Is it fair to say?
Yeah, most definitely. So the RAF is formed on April the 1st, 1918. Towards the end of the First World War, there's been the Royal Flying Corps, the army before that, and the RAF then has to, basically after the First World War, has to find a purpose. And so what they use it for is basically bombing colonial villages in colonies to bring the locals into line.
Keep it light.
This
is when we're the good guys.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of the great. Well, this is, I think, one of
We're
the.
practicing to take on the bad guys.
Well, exactly, and this is also one of the things that's the Second World War, because we do defeat the cartoon villain who, and people wearing black with skulls on.
Yes.
We get to write off, I think, a load of the spicy stuff that precedes it.
Yeah, that's why our history lessons are Henry VIII, then World War II.
Yeah.
That's it.
You skip
everything in between.
Skip
Forget
the
about it.
intervening.
And some of us are like, can we go back to the phrenology bit, please, when you were measuring people's heads? Some of us, sir, get the calipers out.
I want science from the 1890s, please.
That's my favourite area. Vienna in the 1890s.
Forget Charles Darwin. What about social Darwinism?
What about Francis Galton?
But anyway, so then the RAF after the war, it's sort of it's trying to have a purpose, but it's also because aeroplanes are new. It's seen as the absolute cutting. It's super cutting edge, even though it's biplanes and they look old now. It's super cutting edge,
like air fryers.
Yeah, basically, it's like flying an air fryer. Exactly, like
the Royal Air Fryer.
And you've got air fryers with the single drawer and the heavies of the 2-drawer air fryer.
What have you got?
I've only got the single drawer. I'm a fighter guy, not a bomber guy.
Yeah, I'm a
basically.
single
I've
drawer.
got a outdoor barbecue.
So I have a big
air fryer.
green egg.
Do you?
Outdoor. I've got a big green egg barbecue. So
Oh, sorry, I thought that was
It's
completely
just
unrelated.
basically
I thought we were just
like
one-upping each other.
Sorry, we've gone from. This is male bonding.
I've got a fedora with a feather in it.
I've got the.
I'd heard that.
I've got the. They're very hard to get, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
I've got a.
What about it?
I've got a Ninja air fryer barbecue grill, a wood fire grill, and it has the
God,
heating.
this show is going well, isn't it?
It has the heating element. Yes, it is.
And now we know what you spend it on.
I wanted an air fryer, but my
We've
wife
just killed the last woman listening to the show. Has just signed
She's
off.
just signed off.
This is the last holding on for dear life.
Yeah. Al mentioned some kind of bolt, and she went, "I'll let that one slide." And then we mentioned 3 types of air fryers in a minute, and she's gone, "Right, I'm out. Crash the car. Fuck this." And now we can speak freely.
Finally,
The women have turned off.
yeah.
Let's explore some ideas.
goes to the billiards room.
It's got a heating element underneath the kind of ceramic plate,
Right.
And then it's got a little compartment to put wood chips in,
Sweet.
so you can kind of recreate a smoky flavour, but with the speed of an air fryer.
And when you open it, do you get a blast of that smoky flavour and cry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
That's the only time
Crucially,
it's
it
permissible
doesn't
to cry.
gas the entire garden, which is the problem with barbecues. Is that they're actually quite antisocial.
Yeah. Yeah. That's also the great thing about barbecues is
Yeah,
you can be
right,
left
fuck
alone
off.
to cook
Yeah.
in the garden.
Yes,
right?
yeah. But anyway, my wife said we couldn't have an air fryer because it would take up counter space, and I think that's what counter space is for.
I agree. I agree.
She likes empty space,
Right.
apparently.
I like
Anyway.
machines on the counters.
Yes.
Okay, we're getting quite a good glimpse into your domestic situation here.
Yes.
Yes.
The empty space required.
Yes.
The Lebensraum.
So on.
Yeah, she wants Lebensraum for the counter. Anyway, so there are these 3 Bomber Command, Fighter Command, Coastal Command set up in the 30s, and crucially there is radar, which is very new technology.
Is it a British invention? Radar?
It is a British. Well, everyone's kind of thought of it, but there's
We've all thought of it.
There's a guy called
I
Robert.
thought of loads of
Well,
stuff.
there's a guy called Robert Watson Watt. Yes. At one point, basically, the Air Ministry they want detection devices. They got listening, like big listening devices, like sort of huge domes for listening to stuff. And then there's a guy who comes forward in the late 20s. He goes, "I can make a death ray. I could build you a death ray because it's a sci-fi idea. I could build you a death ray, and he. There's a story about a civil servant who's made to stand in front of the death ray, and then they fire it. And obviously, he isn't killed, right?
So a civil servant is ordered to stand in front of a death ray.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they flick the switch, and nothing happens, right? But basically, in all this sort of
Sorry, did that civil servant cry about being bullied? Like the Cummins
no,
one?
absolutely not. We're talking about a different era.
Back in the day,
resilience.
we were a different breed.
We were different people.
Yes, I'll do that. I'm a civil servant. I'm serving the
Sounds
country.
like one of our listeners, though, firing death rays at civil servants.
Yeah.
But in all that, there's this thing, radar, basically, the idea of using radio waves for detection.
Yeah.
Reflected radio waves becomes a thing, and they invest in it, and the British have this system, and they look like big pylons. So the Germans have got like a thing that spins, like we think of a radar, like a thing that turns round. We have these great big pylons with wires hanging between them. And before the war, in 1939, the Germans send a Zeppelin to fly all the way along the English coast to like check it out. And because it doesn't look like a radar to them, they think it can't be one.
Genius.
Brilliant.
They're going, it's something, it's transmitting something. We don't know what it
Just
is.
ignore that.
Yeah.
Just ignore
and the British turn it off when the Zeppelin comes along. So there's nothing for them to examine.
Right.
Clever.
Yeah. But
So they
there's
think we
radar.
don't have radar?
They think, well, they're not sure. They think we've got something, but they don't know what it is.
Do they know what radar is? Do they have a concept of it?
They've got their own.
Right.
But it's completely different, and it's short range. It's not like this.
What's better? Which one's better?
Well, in the circumstances, the one the British has got is better. Obviously.
But we
win here, right? We're not... Wir haben nicht die Konversation auf Deutsch, right?
If only.
Nein.
Ich möchte.
Das ist nicht so gut.
Ich kann fließend Deutsch.
Ich liebe Kartoffeln.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know much German.
Nor do I. That's it.
Ich kann. Oh, yeah.
I just know I love potatoes.
Der Angriffssteiner war Befehl. I know the entire Downfall speech. Anyway,
Gary, you've played a little more.
Das war ein Befehl. Der Angriffssteiner war Befehl. Wo sind Sie? Das ist zu wagen. Mein Befehl ist auf Widersetzen.
The last year of Downfall, he's got it
That
all
was
down.
my German oral exam. Genuinely, my German teacher was called Frau Hanke.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
9. Frankie 9.
That's why we were talking about Goering is the kind of cartoonish Nazi.
Yeah.
It's the cartoonish German. Oh, Frau Hanke, bitte.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Anyway.
Anyway. So fighter command will be the most important for the Battle of Britain.
Yeah.
Because the fighters, again, for our thick listeners, fighters are
They're
the
ugly
ones
as
that,
well.
Sorry?
They're ugly as well.
They're very ugly and smelly.
Yeah.
They are the fighters are things that shoot down bombers. So
Yes.
a bomber flying over its target will have a fighter escort.
Yeah.
Which is not like a small Japanese.
Wait, not like a prostitute.
No, not like our listeners have escorts.
Right.
So it'll be a phalanx of fighter planes that then do combat with the enemy fighters.
Yeah.
And that you trying to protect your bomber so that it can drop its payload over the.
You get this is all spot on. But the interesting about the Battle of Britain is that's not what the British. There's a thing called the Dowding system. So there's the Air Chief Marshal Dowding. Well, he's not Air Chief Marshal.
He's the big cheese.
He's the big cheese in charge of Fighter Command defence, and he's come up with this system using radar and using observer people with binoculars, literally seeing the planes. Because once they're over the coast, they're not detected by the radar anymore. They have to be eyes on.
So we've got radar, and then we've got what we call blokes with binoculars.
Yeah, the observe corps.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Sorry, and how accurate are they? Just going? Well, that's going that way.
They're saying there's, what we think is 100 aeroplanes proceeding on this bearing at what we think is that height, and they've got like a sort of sextant theodolite thing, so they can take a bearing on the aeroplanes, and they have to report kind of every 5 minutes. And there's viewing stations are 5 miles apart, so they get this really complex picture of information that then gets filtered at Bentley Priory in West London, where they're getting all this information, drawing it in, figuring out what to do.
They're loving it though, aren't they?
Oh yeah,
they're loving it. Like British dads, like, being British makes sense in this case.
But I think there's something particularly about the Battle of Britain where it's quite hard to visualise because it's all in the air.
Yeah.
But it's
like
real
mosquitoes.
It's a bit like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's an English summer.
Yes.
And it's an English summer where we do well.
Yeah.
And so it's been romanticised like a good World Cup summer.
Yeah.
And these long days.
Like a box of tea, like that's how England looks when it's on a
long
on a tea
days,
box.
warm ale. And also the pilots, they're going up and fighting, and then they're just going to the pub afterwards.
They're getting so much pussy, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable amounts of.
Yes, they tend not to refer to it like that in their memoirs, but yes.
But we're trying to make it vivid for
Yes.
the listeners
Of course,
nowadays.
we're trying to bring it up to date now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is they do go to the pub. That they're encouraged to go to the pub in the evening afterwards to let it all out.
And then apparently in the morning, if they're still a bit groggy when they have to get in the plane, they just 100% oxygen hit.
Yeah.
Wipes them clean, which is now like you see those vans going around Las Vegas where people get IV drips of like fluids.
Yeah.
So Britain has this Dowding system, which is sort of is that the most important aspect of our defence? It's something
and it's the first ever fighter defence system, air defence system in the world. No one's done it before.
Is it called the Dowding system because he designed it?
Yeah, because it's this guy Dowding. It's the radar on the coast. There's a long range one and there's a shorter range system. And basically the Germans come over the channel and they can see them if they're coming from the Pas-de-Calais. If they're coming from Calais, they can see them forming up over the French coast and then coming over. So they know how many are coming and they know what direction they're going in and roughly where they're headed. And it means they can get the fighters up and attack.
So obviously there's a big home advantage because you can refuel in Britain and the Germans have to go back home.
And if you're shot down, you
get banged on the head with a teapot or something.
Well, if you're German, you get banged on the head with a teapot. Yeah, you're
told off.
Chased around
if you're British, you get a cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly.
The two sides of Britain.
Or if you're a Polish pilot, it can go either way.
Yes. And that's still the case today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Depending on where you land in the country. If you land in London, come and have a cup of tea.
Let's get that yellow and blue map.
If it's in Lincolnshire, run.
Forget about it.
Run into the sea. It's your safest bet. Anyway, so Dowding divides the country into regional groups, and when he's doing this, is this post Dunkirk? How quickly after Dunkirk have they got a system that they can immediately snap into?
No, this is all in place before the war,
right? Okay,
and because before the war, there's an Italian military theorist called
a bit of an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Well, that's
tallest
precise.
dwarf,
It's
right?
the only one they've ever had, right? And it turns out he was wrong. Called Douay.
You need to have sex with the most beautiful women in the world.
Yeah.
And he says that you're going to use what they're going to do. The future war will be won by bombers, which will bomb civilian populations to the point where they rise up against their politicians and overthrow them. Right. And it's this idea that the bomber.
Not Gino Dicampo. That's someone else.
It's not Gino Dicampo.
But
No.
it sounds like a very similar.
It's
thing
the
to how he
lineage
was-
that he's part of. Sorry.
Gino Dicampo would bomb runners on set with words and demands until
they capitulated.
until they demanded a revolution and they got him fired. So he was right.
It's part of the tradition, the
he
Italian
was right
military
in some
tradition.
ways. He was just thinking about Gino Dicampo and not air warfare. Anyway,
But it's this idea the bomber will always get through.
Yeah.
And
Dicampo will always be. Yeah.
And so everyone's really nervous about the effect of bombing, and the British government is really freaking out about it. And their expectation is that the population will rise against them and all this sort of thing. They're really worried, genuinely worried about that.
Yeah.
So fighters are the fighter system to defend London is put in place well before the war.
Because this is sort of the first war which is actually taken into the cities. In British cities. In the wars before that had been they'd been abroad. They'd been external things.
We don't. You know, the last time we did any fighting here was. Well, it depends if you're Scottish.
Yes.
The
Culloden.
more recent Culloden.
Yeah.
Right, but you know, the Civil War is the last time English cities were sort of smashed up.
Yeah.
So that's why everyone is so scared. Is
Yeah.
they think,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah, yeah.
All
actually-
these stamp collectors and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
gardeners
Yeah.
getting their houses
So
blown up.
Dowding is England is divided into these groups. 11 Group is the most important
Yeah,
region,
sort of
which is around the
Kent.
southeast, Kent. The first line of defence against Luftwaffe raids. And I guess you know off the top of your head, when's the first full Luftwaffe raid? Is this July? Is it 1940?
Well, what happens is this thing called the Canal Kampf. Yes.
Now you're speaking my language.
Where the Germans attack English shipping along the coast, because one of the things that's going on is you know, we had at the time we're a coal economy. So you've got a lot of coalers coming down from Newcastle, for instance, coming down the east coast to London, and then round to Portsmouth and onto Plymouth, bringing coal down. And the Germans attack that shipping and make a real effort to attack that shipping. So that's the sort of the first set of encounters that start at the start of the Battle of Britain, and then they start attacking the airfields. So they
Is
switch.
it effective, the coal bombing?
Well, yeah, kind of. And,
But then there's the thing about the problem the Germans have is that there's the Royal Navy as well.
Yeah.
So presumably they're in the Channel defending.
If the Germans ever get around to invading, they're going to have to contend with the Royal Navy. So that's kind of like that's almost like it's almost not worth talking about the German invasion plan, Operation Sea Lion, because it was never going to work.
But they kind of think that as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Everyone kind of thinks
Goering
that.
thinks it's bollocks.
Yeah,
but I think the army think it might happen, or at least Hitler probably thinks it might. happen.
But it's politics. They're trying to. What they're really trying to do is
Bring Britain to the table.
Yeah. But the problem is Winston Churchill. You know, their problem actually is Winston Churchill. You know, because he's not going to do it.
No.
Never.
Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Basically,
He would eat through his Ozempic.
He would eat towards them.
For sure.
all day long, and then and wash it down with
Paul Roger.
His booze consumption is really like there's something genuine when you read what he would cut through every day. It's genuinely heroic.
But then you see what he wrote and the precision of his writing.
Yeah.
Having had 2 bottles of Paul Roger before 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And
It's
you're
like
like,
Hunter S. Thompson.
this
sort
is
of.
the greatest writer that's ever lived. I don't understand how you can write that well, that hammered. Right. So, as we've said, there's an advanced system of command and control. They've got the radar. Now, the Dowding system is all these different nodes are centered in, is it Stanmore? Is that where Bentley Park is?
Bentley Priory.
And this is where they get, apparently, the most attractive women Hugh Dowding can find to move stuff around.
Lean over the table and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a gallery of men going, ooh.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is, this is the Women's Auxiliary Air Force,
Yes.
nicknamed the Beauty Chorus. They're in the filter room, German.
Yep.
And they're just, it's a bit of blue for the dads, I guess. Let the dog see the rabbit. Keep morale up. So they're getting information from the blokes on the coast with binoculars and the radar, but obviously planes are moving quite fast.
Yes.
So they just how fast are they moving?
They get an update. There's a clock, and the information on the sort of map, and they are literally sort of doing that.
Yeah.
Is color coded for how long ago it came on the clock in quarters of an hour. So there's this blue, red, yellow clock layout on the clock face, and so they know how old the information is as it progresses, because the Germans will change course as well, because one of the things they're heading one direction to make you think they're going to Norwich or whatever, and then they'll tack into London or whatever. But
who's generally falling for like? Oh no, they're going for Norwich.
No, because the point is to get the fighters up.
Not Lincoln.
You need height. You need to be higher up than the.
But like negging London.
Yeah,
but the less attractive friends.
Yeah, where are you going? Come back. Why are you
to start with, they're attacking airfields, so it's very hard actually to tell really. Well, this is
the big point we need to get to. In the sort of the main the story of the Battle of Britain is that initially Goering has said to Hitler he will knock out the RAF by the middle of September.
Yeah,
and so either British comes to terms.
Actually, he says originally, we can do it in 4 or 5 days.
Do it in a week. Fuck it.
Yeah. And he's got this intelligence guy, Beppo Schmidt, who's
Beppo Schmidt like a pool boy. Yeah. Beppo Schmidt,
and he really is like, he writes this Case Blue, I think it's called, this like intelligence report about the state of Britain, and he just doesn't know. He's going, maybe there's 300 fighters or 600. He's just making up.
Yeah,
and he's going that he doesn't even know fighter command exists. There's no mention of fighter command in the German assessment.
Intelligence.
Yeah.
Whereas a modern war now, your intelligence would be far, far better, right?
Well, yeah.
It's
the RAF
harder.
would have said they've got fight command on Twitter.
Yeah.
So,
because it is interesting how blind they're. Obviously, it's easy with hindsight.
Yes.
In my head, I'd be like, I'd always know that.
Yeah.
I would have just known that.
Yeah.
But you really don't know any of this stuff. But a modern war would be very different, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but
you wouldn't be this much in the dark about someone's military capabilities.
Is this the first time in World War II where the Germans are actually, like, was it that they were really good on the Western Front or in Poland, or was it that? Well, but as in, obviously the French.
I know, quite bad.
The French. Listen,
no, the French.
Let's take politics out of this.
The French are dog shit in May of 1940s. What it really comes down to, they really make it. They kind of do everything the Germans could possibly want them to do.
And it's because they got like 95-year-old.
Yes,
leaders.
all that, and
they have a Michelin star restaurant underneath the Michelin. The Maginot Line is just a restaurant,
and they won't use radios. They use guys on bikes and
pigeons.
It's really bad.
Pigeons,
then they put corn down the neck of the pigeon.
Yeah. And it's the same. It's the same place where the Germans attacked in 1870, and they were attacked in 1914. And 1940, it's the same.
Through the Ardennes,
to the Sudan, it's exactly the same crossing on the river and everything. Yeah.
So they went lightning won't strike three times.
No, there's no way they'll go through the pig forest again.
Same place 3 times. There's no way they're coming over.
How would we have known?
Yeah.
They have done it again.
But as in, what I mean is the failure of intelligence that the Goering and his guy have about Britain. Is this the first time that are they not doing that intelligence?
Yeah, but it's a mark of the fact they're in a situation they're simply not expecting to be in. Whereas Poland, they've been sizing Poland up for ages. France, they think long and hard about what to do about
Poland is
France.
my garden for my air fryer. I know exactly where it's going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going there in the corner.
Exactly.
I have to face away from guests.
Exactly.
So
they're making.
And there's going to be a lot of smoke coming out. But anyway,
they're making it up as they go along for the Battle of Britain. They don't know what to do. This is why they haven't thought about it at all.
Yeah. So the initial plan is that they're going to knock out the RAF, which means, as you say, bombing airfields. And how many airfields has Britain got? 50 odd, something like this?
It's hundreds of air stations. And the thing is like your modern fighter planes. In fact, most planes at that point are designed to be out. They can take off on grass fields, on grass landing strips. So. It's not even like if you can bomb a concrete strip, you put a boulder in it, it's more of a problem. So what the British have is they have because the advantage of a grass strip is the wind can be blowing in any direction.
The women aren't listening out. You can.
Great. So the advantage
don't feel bad.
The advantage of a grass airstrip is you could take off into the wind whichever direction it's in. Whereas a concrete one is like a straight line that you take a guess on which way the wind's going to be blowing. Right. So you could go in any direction, get your planes off any old how.
Yeah.
But it also means if it's bombed, you've got like they literally have mounds of dirt and bulldozers, and they just fill the hole.
Right. Okay.
So grass landing strips were better during the Battle of Britain.
Yeah, and are really resilient, and they can withstand the punishment the Germans are dishing out. Also, the Germans, they don't know which stations are which, so they bomb bomber stations. They literally don't know anything about.
And am I right in thinking this is where they have their system of navigation? Is that they've sent out two radio beams or waves, and the bombers will follow one, and then when they pick up the other one, that's their point.
Yeah.
But the Brits start just sending up other radio waves.
Yeah, literally bending the beams.
Bend it like
and
Beckham.
And that's R.V. Jones and Watson Watt are involved in that. He's back. Watson Watt's back. But yeah, I mean, basically, because the Germans just have literally no idea what there is in Britain in terms of any of it. So they're bombing airfields, but not the right ones. They smash Biggin Hill up properly, but
you're speaking quite defeatist about the Germans.
Well, they basically do lose, right? I mean, this is
a fight that's going on underground, isn't it, Finn?
Sorry?
It's a fight that's still going on underground.
Yeah, well, some of us are still carrying the torch.
Well, I was wondering if I was on the right podcast for a moment.
Well, it's not a sister podcast. It's a sister that you've had a falling out with. You're a strange sister. So the Germans are trying to knock out airfields, and they only have when they start coming over. This is every day. July 1940, August 1940, they're having these long days of aerial combat in the sky. So if you're a British civilian, you're looking up, you're in the southeast. Obviously, if you're in Wales, just carry on as normal, I guess.
Yeah, it's not happening there.
Not happening there, but you're hearing the noise of the terrifying noise. Are Stukas involved in Battle of Britain?
Yeah, well, to start with, and because the Stuka's the thing with the siren
TIE fighter,
a dive bomber, and but their problem is they're really slow and they're very vulnerable to Spitfires and Hurricanes, so they get shot down and they withdraw them. They give up on them.
Why don't you just talk to us about the actual planes?
Okay,
slap us around the face with it. Come on.
Okay, well, so
butter us up.
What's happened is in the 30s you've had this real revolution in aircraft design, and everything previously up to that point has been biplanes, really, and in come monoplane single wing aircraft.
And that's the World War One, the two
exactly,
wings.
exactly,
exactly,
the fut along. And what happens is there's new engines. So famously, there's a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine that the British have that's really powerful, and the Germans have in the Messerschmitt 109, they have an inverted Daimler-Benz engine.
Christ.
And the Germans
Daimler-Benz?
Yeah.
So is that anything linked to Mercedes-Benz?
I don't think so. No,
okay.
No. But basically, it's got fuel injection, so it's the engine on the engine on the
go on.
The engine on the Messerschmitt is marginally better than the Spitfire. But basically, these are really fast planes. They can climb really quickly. They can dive really fast, and you have this interesting thing where there's the Hurricane, which is like we've more of those. The British have made more of those.
Still a fighter?
Spitfires. It's a fighter.
Yeah.
It's a little bit slower, but I mean, any schoolboy will tell you, or any schoolboy my age, because that's what I am still essentially.
Yeah.
It's got like a fabric covering on it, so if it's damaged, they can just patch it with more linen. Whereas the Spitfire is made of aluminium mainly, so if it's damaged, it's more complex to repair. But it's a better aeroplane.
And the podcast I was listening to, it said even though the Spitfire gets most of the plaudits, the Hurricanes did the most.
Well, first of all, there are more of them, so they are going to do more.
Right.
And secondly, their job, they split the jobs, so the Hurricanes are sent after the bombers, and the Spitfires are sent after the escort, the fighter escort.
Right.
Although the Germans have two aircraft in their fighter escort. They have the 109, which is the little single-seater plane, and they have a two-engined Messerschmitt called the 110, the Gestora, the destroyer, that's slow and ponderous and can be shot down. So the Hurricanes can mix it with that. They get in with the bombers. So the Hurricanes do shoot down more aircraft, but because there's more of them, and they're given arguably an easier job.
Okay.
And are the fighters, is this still a case of like World War One when there's a guy with a machine gun in the plane? Or have they got guns attached?
They've got guns
now?
in the wings.
Yeah.
But the Germans have got heavier guns. They've got like a cannon which fires an exploding shell. So if it hits you, it'll do you more damage. We've got machine guns which in a 1923 report, they say never fit these to fighter planes. They're like pea shooters. And the War Office and the Air Ministry think, well, we've already got a load of bullets left over for those from the First World War. So
got to use your bullets.
Got to use your bullets up.
How did that manifest itself? Then?
Well,
who was right?
The Germans were right about that. It just doesn't have the British don't have the punching power with their armament that the Germans have.
Right.
Because also with the Spitfire, the wings are really thin.
Okay.
So the guns are spaced out across the wing.
Yeah.
And they have to be tuned to converge. So you where the bullets would all meet, and so you'd have the arguments about how you'd have your bullets converge at 300 yards or 250, and some pilots are like, no, I need a 50, and I need to
you'd have to tune it up.
You'd literally have to they'd crank the gun so they'd all point, they'd point inwards, so they'd meet at a certain point. Right. And there's all that going on in the aircraft and the armament.
Sorry, if you tune them to the right degree, could you shoot yourself in the cockpit?
No, you know, there's
you could. Probably.
I mean, I don't think you'd be able to persuade anyone to.
It'd be quite a funny way. It'd be quite a funny way to go.
It would be certainly a way to go. And the British don't have fuel injection. They have a problem with a carburettor in the Merlin engine, in the Spitfires and Hurricanes. If they turn the plane over, the fuel can cut out, or the engine can cut out because it gets an extra dose of fuel. And so there's a woman called Beatrice Shilling, who invents a thing called Miss Shilling's Orifice.
Oh yeah,
I'm listening.
And that's a washer that goes in the engine to stop it cutting out when they turn the plane over. Because the Spitfire
Miss Shilling's Orifice.
Miss Shilling's Orifice.
Right.
Wow. If we're talking brass tacks, what is the? I'm thick as well. What is the best plane?
Spitfire.
Unpatriotically, objective.
I'm being objective and patriotic at the same time. It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not these days.
Not these days.
No, the Spitfire, because and the reason is
just at this moment in time, the Spitfire is the best plane in the world.
I mean, you talked about home advantage earlier on. The Messerschmitt, when it gets to London, for instance, has probably only really got 10-15 minutes over London before it has to turn around and go back because it's not got the fuel capacity. Whereas the Spitfire can tool around having a proper go. So in the circumstances, the Spitfire is the better plane.
In the circumstances, but actual design,
Spitfire
still.
Yeah,
even though it's got worse guns.
Yeah, but the other thing about the Spitfire is they're able to upgrade it more successfully as the war runs. It's a more open-ended.
I'm just sorry. I'm getting a vision of you at a pub, seeing what's on tap, and it's like Peroni, Madri. Nah, none of this shit. None of this shit. Where's Hobgoblin? I want a pint of Hobgoblin. Fuck off with your Peroni.
Is it Madri Carling anyway? Isn't it rebadged Carling?
This is exactly.
Here we go.
So there we go. Yeah, so I'll take
something.
I'll take the Madri then.
Take the Spanish hat off and try to Carling. Now the story of the Battle of Britain, Eagle Day in August 1940. This is when the Germany sort of really starts bombing.
Tries to
start bombing. I'm trying to create suspense for the thick listeners. They're on the toilet. They're struggling to find the cord.
Yeah, certainly in the movie. In the movie, it's a big feature in the movie, and there's a big thing in it in the film. There's they make big play of it. Yeah.
But there is a point. I mean, Charlie, what have you found?
I was just saying how many fish might have died in the Battle of Britain, but there's no.
It's more of an air thing, so I don't think.
Yeah, birds maybe might be more. How many birds died?
Birds would be the thing to look up.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Charlie gets confused between fish and birds sometimes.
He's very, very thick.
Yeah.
Our producer Charlie.
Again, not recorded. But what was the environmental impact of the war?
Yeah, I mean, what about all the emissions?
Well,
I mean that's
This whole thing's a tragedy. A tragedy for. Can you imagine Ules in the Battle of Britain?
Well,
Sadiq's London.
Well,
I can't fly my Messerschmitt. It's not fucking Ules compliant.
And later in the war, we have a fog dispersal thing. You know about this called FIDO?
No.
So basically, if you're flying back from Germany, right, on a bomb raid, and it's foggy on the way in, they have airfields where they burn petrol. They just set fire to petrol and it disperses the fog.
Yeah, have that, Thunberg. Have that, Greta. You like that? Yeah. Fuck off.
You know whose side she's on?
Yeah. Nazi Thunberg. Yeah. The Nuremberg rallies, the Nuremberg rallies, it's in there somewhere. What have you found?
Over 750,000 dogs and cats were killed in 1 week.
Wow. In the Battle of Britain?
Yes.
I'll take the cats.
So an unprecedented voluntary massacre of pets.
Yes, that's quite right. Yeah, people had their pets.
The September Holocaust. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, people had their pets put down rather than because they couldn't evacuate them all.
Dogs on firework nights.
Yeah, exactly. It's firework night. Bonanza.
Do you know what? I never thought about that. That's a lot of. I mean, I'd say that's a war crime. As a dog owner, I'd say I'm quite iffy about this.
Was it just because you can't have them in the city because let the Germans know where
it's an unhappy time.
But what I would say is that we evacuate the women and the children to the countryside, and yet we kill the dogs. Could that not have been the other way around? But
You're back out in the garden with your air fryer, aren't you?
But why aren't the dogs evacuated with the women and children?
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
they're just all killed.
No, they put a load of them down. Yeah.
The vets do very well out of the Battle of Britain, I guess, don't they? They've got no work because there's no dogs.
I'm a Battle of Britain vet.
Yeah.
How many cats did you kill?
The September Holocaust, 1939 to 1940, roughly 400,000 to three-quarters of a million pets are euthanized in Britain in the first week of the war. So it's not even prior to the Battle of Britain.
It's
pretty preventive.
Yeah, because of the
bombing. Are they even looking over here? Bang!
Yeah. But it's the bombing scare. Like I said, people are really scared about bombing. The bomber will always get through. There's this panic on, and so. Yeah, that it's really terrible.
Really bad. Now, the story of the Battle of Britain that I'm aware of, that you may rejoice in telling me is wrong, is that, looking from the German perspective, it was going, they had heavy losses and their intelligence was crap, so they thought that they inflicted many more losses on the Brits than they had. But there is a point, end of August, start of September, where the RAF supposedly is quite close to being wiped out, or at least it's in serious trouble.
Yes,
how correct is that?
Well, the problem with that way of looking at it is it's not quite right. The 11 group, who are the southeastern group, they're under a lot of pressure because it's mainly coming through 11 group. 10 group aren't, 12 group aren't. And so 11 group, and there's a point where it looks like they're entering crisis. But the whole point of the group system in the RAF is you can rotate the squadrons in and out from the other groups. So they are actually, they're never short, they're never actually...
Deep squad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the whole way.
23-man squads.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. But that's the other thing. The squadrons have more pilots than aircraft, so they can rotate within the squadrons.
Right, okay.
So it literally is deep squad. So the Germans are running Staffel, and the squadrons are smaller, and everyone flies. Whereas the British have a bigger squadron, and not everyone flies. And so
you can't win a World Cup with 15 people.
No. Well, exactly. And that is actually the mistake the Germans make, because the German pilots have to fly every single day, every sortie. Some of them are flying 2 or 3 times a day, and they're exhausted, and they're not going to the pub. They're in camps, in tents, and
it's stereotypes. We're in the pub, they're in the camps. Do you know what I mean?
It could be more on the nose, right?
But there is
a moment where 11 group are under a lot of pressure, but actually it's not really a moment of crisis. And the Germans are not really destroying airfields, and they're not having the effect they have. And also British fighter production at this point is outproducing German replacements. So the Luftwaffe's like a running out of planes and people, and the RAF actually kind of isn't. And he's actually getting.
But this is the Eric Hobsbawm school of thought, which that World War II, which to us is the most exciting thing that's ever happened, a kind of space opera of war, was actually a race against factories, which makes it seem a lot less exciting.
Yeah. It is a lot less.
Bit of a killjoy.
It's a lot less exciting. Still, he's right, but someone's still got to get in a fucking aeroplane and fly the thing.
Well, exactly.
And that's the bit where
it's
the
not the
adventure
office where like there's the Slough office and the Reading office, and it's like, we're gonna have to liquidate Slough. So that's basically what he says.
That's the World War II film he wants to see.
That's what he wants to make, is like, oh no, we're going to have to fold the Nazis into Brits and American because their factories are better. It's not as captivating a narrative that way around.
Yeah.
But there is this moment where 11 group are supposedly on the edge, and at the end of August, German intelligence tells Goering that the RAF had lost 791 planes to the Germans 169, when in reality it was more about
these are sort of North Korean numbers, right?
We've lost 7-1 or 8-1 to the Portuguese. The total German aircraft losses was approaching 900. Now, as 11 group in the southeast is at Hell's Corner.
Yeah.
Which is the nickname given
it's the most exciting Kent's ever been, right?
Yeah. Well, Hell's Corner is now probably a Wetherspoons in Margate. But this is where like Biggin Hill. So Biggin Hill gets blown to shit.
Yeah. Biggin Hill really cops it, and it is really smashed up.
Yeah.
But it's a. I mean, one of the other things is no one can find anywhere. There's no one's using Waze, right? And the Germans rely that they don't have radar. They don't have radio within their fighter groups. So basically, they'll go up and a bloke will be reading a map on his
So
knee.
then no one's talking to each other?
No, they can't talk to each other because one of the German fighter races, a guy called Adolf Galland, he doesn't believe in radio. He thinks it's going to confuse everyone.
Right.
And that they should be
But the
fighting on their
Brits have
instincts.
radio.
Brits have radio, and in your Spitfire, you're vectored. You're told where to go. You're vectored to exactly the right point, and you take your. You're given direction and everything. Whereas the Germans are swanning around looking for trouble, basically.
So, Al, if Operation Sea Lion was kind of a non-starter, then was the Battle of Britain a non-starter? Were they always going to lose that?
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
there was not really.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about the Battle of Britain is it's an amazing, it's the few, it's all that, and the idea that we won by the skin of our teeth. But actually, what happens is the Germans are, and it's a reverse of the Germans. There's stereotype of the Germans are super organised, super efficient, and that we're like
beach towel on
exactly,
holiday.
and we bumble through, and mustn't grumble. And it's completely the other way around. The Germans are improvising, and we've got this system run by really, really ruthless people, populated by really dedicated, ruthless people, and they feed themselves into the mincer, basically.
Right.
So
it was always going to.
It was always going to go wrong.
Yeah.
So
there's is there any way Goering could have? Could he actually have knocked out the Air Force?
No.
So even.
He's still fighting the war.
He is. But even if so, there's a point where, and I can't remember whether it's a German bomber squadron accidentally drifts into London airspace and bombs, or whether it was a definitive change in strategy.
Yeah.
Because there's this guy Kesselring, right?
Yeah,
who supposedly
Smiling Albert.
Yeah, so supposedly he is a much more realistic than Goering.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a fantasist and a theatrical guy.
Yeah.
Goering wants big explosion. Oh, wow, big explosions.
Yeah.
He wants to put a Mento in a Coke bottle.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
bombing London. Kesselring, at least from what I've read, seems to understand that if you try and keep bombing the airfields slowly, attritionally, test cricket, you will win out.
Yeah.
Now, but Kesselring didn't have Hitler's ear in the way Goering did.
No, and also Kessering's problem is he still doesn't know where the airfields are
Because the intelligence is crap.
Yeah.
Right.
And it might be causing wear and tear on the British, but it's also the too many jobs the Luftwaffe have to achieve to win the Battle of Britain. They aren't capable of each of the single jobs they're trying to pull off. So they've got to destroy the airfields, destroy the fighters, bomb London, and they're bombing London, the docks militarily. But it's about political effect. It's to make us give up.
Right. So they could have done that if it wasn't Churchill.
If they'd started doing that, by doing that, the political outcome might have been really quite different.
Chamberlain was still in power.
Well, no, because Churchill's in. Once Dunkirk's happened, it's very febrile, and you've got people writing, writing their diary. Oh, I've got the suicide pills ready for if the Germans invade. I'll go down the garden. We'll go down the bottom of the garden and kill ourselves and all this.
Even though
stuff.
practically, if you think about it, it would have never worked anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just the feeling.
A bit about hindsight here.
Yeah. I would have known.
I just want to say I've had a real sense of what it's like sitting next to you at a wedding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great.
How'd you know the bride and groom?
talk about
actually, Britain would always have won the battle of Britain. Sorry.
I can talk about other shit, but no.
We brought. This is why you're here, Al. You're here to get into the machine. So I guess it's more of a killjoy. Maybe when you know as much about it as you do, because the popular narrative
underdog.
Is that the underdog victory.
It's a propaganda thing.
That's a psychological crutch the Brits have. For all their victories, Rorke's Drift,
even in Sudan,
Dunkirk, even Gordon in Sudan,
doesn't matter.
Why were we there? Doesn't matter. We are underdog emperor, colonialists. And what's the Churchill quote? Is never has so much been loved by so few. But how many? The Battle of Britain is what? Is a few hundred people, a few thousand people.
544 pilots killed.
Yeah.
Flying, about 2,800, I think, flying total. Bomber commander also attacking the German airfields the other side of the channel. But there's 300,000 people in the RAF.
Yeah.
There's about 100,000 people in the Reserve Corps, about 100,000 people on the flat guns firing. And the anti-aircraft thing is really interesting as well because they can't hit anything.
No. But that's morale, basically.
Yeah, if they have to keep firing the guns so that people think London's being defended, even though it's wearing the guns out. And using ammunition up, and they aren't achieving anything. It's to make people feel that
we're having a go.
They're being looked after.
Yeah.
So I think now we're moving on to the big wing conspiracy.
So what's that?
This is what you want to talk about. Before you were
partly,
saying this is like a load of cunts, I believe you said.
Well, certainly there's some big personalities.
Sure.
So 11 Group is commanded by a guy called Keith Park, who's a First World War fighter ace. He's from New Zealand. He's an absolutely brilliant man. And he with Dowding devised the Dowding system that's defending England. In 12 Group, there's a guy called Trafford Lee Mallory, whose brother is the guy who climbed Mount Everest and never came back. Right. So from a
good chaps,
men of action. And Lee Mallory was a barrister, and then he goes into the RAF. And Lee Mallory is like one of the most extraordinary intriguers. He's always doing the politics, and
he's a snake.
And he thinks he should be commanding 11 Group, not this bloke from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And he thinks actually in the end he should be in charge of fighter command. And he intrigues really hard against and politics against Dowding. And this is one of the, there is the story of the underdog at the Battle of Britain, which is kind of
spirit coming together.
But there's also everyone coming together. And that is not what's going on in fighter command at all, in the Royal Air Force at all. And so 11 Group is sort of Norfolk, Suffolk, Norfolk, Essex, and across the Midlands. So it's a middle swathe of the country.
Brexit. Brexit Group.
I mean,
yeah.
Roughly. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And one of the big fighter stations is Duxford.
Yeah.
Outside Cambridge. And there's still the Imperial War Museum there, and they fly Spitfires there and all this sort of stuff. And basically, the expectation was not that we'd be fighting over the Channel, but if the Germans were going to attack, they'd be coming over the North Sea from Germany, and that Duxford would be the big station that was going to defend London, not Kent, but because the French have thrown the towel in, and the Germans are operating out of Calais, right, and Normandy, and so basically Duxford's set up as this big fighter station. Anyone who's there thinks they've got the plum gig, and Lee Mallory thinks he's got the plum job, and then it's all happening somewhere else. And so he's getting really, really frustrated. He's not in on the action. And he comes up with this idea that what you want to do is mass squadrons of aircraft and attack. They all form up and then they attack the Germans. He's not up to speed. He doesn't like the Dowding system. He doesn't think it's going to work. And principally because it's not his idea.
Right.
And there'll be no credit in it for him if it works, right?
So huge ego.
Yeah. And he wants to come up with something else so that he can go, I did that. That was me.
The Mallory system.
The Mallory system, yeah. And there's Douglas Bader, who's the really famous fighter pilot with no legs.
Yes.
Reach for the
he's in the
sky.
research.
Oh yeah, he gets waddled out to the. He gets sort of helped
That's
into
right. Peg legs over to
And
the.
he lost his legs in like an acrobatic.
Yeah, that's right.
plane
Showing
injury.
off. Yeah. In the early 30s, he loses his legs in a flying accident because he's an ace pilot, and then
It's sort of that Monty Python sketch, right?
Yeah.
The one with him trying to headbutt him with no arms or legs.
yeah. It's that spirit.
Come on.
It's that spirit, and he's really famous. So he's famous before the war when he was an acrobatic pilot, and then his accident. So he's really famous, and he's drawing the press to him. So Lee Mallory kind of uses him as an advocate for this big wing thing. Anyway, they fly these big wing sorties out of Duxford and out of 12 Group, and they're pretty ineffectual because one of the problems is they've all got to meet up. They're burning fuel. They're wasting time. And the Dowding system operates on, there are German planes are going to be here at that point, so we need to get to there rather than we need to gather and join up.
Have a look around.
And
Because
decide.
the whole point of the Dowding system is it's saving fuel and pilots.
And time.
Yeah.
And the idea is you shoot the Germans down before they get to London rather than chase them back over the Channel, which is what the big wing ends up doing. But basically, after the Battle of Britain, Lee Mallory is able to Dowding ends up fired. He's exhausted. He's sort of kind of out of puff.
But he's done an amazing job.
He's done an amazing job. So he's, arguably saved the world.
Yeah. But apart from that, I think you have to go.
Come on.
And Park loses his job as well. Park gets punted over to training command, and it's this kind of really weird moment. And there's a meeting where they do like a debrief, Battle of Britain debrief, where they all get up and they all say the big wing's the future and all this sort of stuff. And Park's like been ambushed, like what the fuck? And Douglas Bader's there, and it's the most junior officer that he's allowed to speak. And basically they oust Dowding and Park and the people who've won the Battle of Britain. And then there's another guy called Sholto Douglas who's involved in this, who then becomes head of fighter command. Lee Mallory gets 11 Group and then proceeds to fight this campaign the next year, where hundreds of aircraft are lost and pilots killed, and it's a complete disaster.
So
It's consequential, this stupid argument.
And
Really
how is
depressing.
it consequential? Apart from, so does it mean that RAF just become less?
Well, the wrong people end up in charge, and so
Yeah.
what happens is the next year, Fighter Command have got a show like Willing. They've got because
It's the new chief executive. It's the new head of commissioner of Channel 4, not doing any of that stuff.
Yeah,
Just develop some
make
new
my
ideas.
mark, make
Yeah.
my legacy.
100%, right?
Yeah.
So what they do is they do these fighter sweeps over the French coast, like what they call rhubarbs or circuses, and basically the Germans have radar, and it's a reverse of the Battle of Britain. They see them coming, so they get up and they shoot them down, and
Pointless.
completely pointless.
Right, let's get to Battle of Britain Day, which Al's probably going to say is bollocks and nothing happened and the Germans just all decided to kill themselves and they never would have won. And it's all rubbish and we've got the better factories and this is really a factory race. So Al, this is a day...
I don't know why I'm bothered coming if she's going to summarise me like that.
Sorry, yeah.
Me about right.
So this is the day that... now, at this point, the Germans have already started bombing London.
Yeah.
But this is the last
Maximum effort.
proper day
Yeah.
where we fight the fighters,
Yeah.
hold them off. This is the last. This is, I guess, it's Leach and Stokes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
final partnership
100%.
that sees them over the line.
Yeah.
So tell us about Battle of Britain Day. This is the final bit of the Battle of Britain where
Yeah.
we decisively win.
Yeah.
Or do we?
Yeah.
Or,
Well, basically, it's the last big proper daylight effort by the Germans bombing London.
Yeah.
It's not working. I think they sent sort of 120 bombers in the morning and then kind of another 100 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And they're met and shot down and dealt with, and that's kind of it, really.
so unlike the podcast I listened to, which was it all hinged on this. Suddenly there's a huge squadron of planes over the. People are terrified. They're killing their dogs.
Yeah.
No,
Nah,
I mean,
bollocks, fuck off.
No. But
Nah.
basically, whatever the Luftwaffe offer, Fighter Command essentially has an answer.
Yeah.
And so, but then the problem is the Germans do think, well, this daylight thing isn't working, so they switch to night bombing, and we have nothing. Can't see the aircraft at night. Have no night fighters, nothing, and that's when the Blitz really bites, is because we've got no answer to it.
And we're going to talk about the Blitz in our next episode.
Yes.
Al is going to stick around. He's
Yeah,
going
why
to tell
not?
us.
Thank you so much. It's been
such an
very interesting.
education.
It genuinely has.
He's going to tell us about.
anything on this
He's going
pod,
to
so
tell
it's
us about how the Blitz was bollocks. Actually,
No.
it was all rubbish, and it was just just dropping some conkers on us, and we were fine. We were always going to win.
You're saying the real Blitz is Sadiq Khan being elected.
It's Ulez. Ulez is the real Blitz.
It's done more damage to London than the Nazis.
The real Blitz spirit is those men who they tear down LTN cameras and they graffiti Ulez signs. That episode's already on the Patreon. We're for £3 a month. You can get instant access, no ads. You can exchange ideas with other people who
It's
have
marketplace
of
for
ideas.
nice memorabilia and
Arts
ideas.
memorabilia, fedoras, all sorts. If not, we'll see you for the next part where we will discuss the Blitz with Al Murray. See you then.
Goodbye.